Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be talking about One Piece chapter 951, and oh boy, so this is a little bit of fallout, a little bit of setup, and a lot of really kind of hype stuff going on. So let's get right on to it. So first of all, we get a little bit of fallout, sort of anyways, from the Yasuie execution. Orochi is on the hunt for everybody that was involved, and he's pretty pissed off about everything that's going on, especially, obviously, that he seemingly got tricked or whatever. He didn't really get tricked, but now he's really getting tricked. Either way, he is pretty angry, and his advisor kind of says, like, yo, listen, we did capture two of the big baddies of the rebels, so that's at least something. So that clearly shows that Orochi and many of the other people, especially maybe even Kaido's crew, don't know that Luffy is, like, running the show at Udon Prison. So that's a pretty interesting aspect of this, and we kind of knew that already, that they didn't really know about it because the communications had been cut off. So it's going to be really interesting to see Orochi's reaction when he finds out that basically an entire army of people that hate his guts are ready to come knocking on his door. So yeah, basically now the entire Straw Hat crew has Wano-specific bounties on their heads. We have some kind of like very Japanese, old-style looking art of them for their wanted posters, and honestly, they look pretty good. For just drawings of people that like. Honestly, the artist probably just kind of heard about, so pretty good on that guy's part. In addition to that, it turns out that maybe Yasuie's speech, which was meant to kind of like divert the attention of Orochi and all of his people from the people that they had imprisoned with the markings and the tattoos on their ankles, away. However, it didn't really work out in his favor because Orochi is a very proud man. He's not going to admit that he was wrong, even if he was technically right. So he is basically just keeping them all in prison. Doesn't matter. They're all stuck there anyways. However, Beppo and the other two Heart Pirates ended up getting out of prison because they were basically a bargaining chip for Law. So now Hawkins and Drake have Law, but his like three subordinates were set free because Hawkins is like a man backed into a corner with no way out or whatever is just as dangerous as somebody that maybe has all the cards or whatever. So he basically let go of Law's crew just so Law wouldn't really have much of a reason to fight back. In addition to that, the people that Beppo and whatnot were in the jail cells with added extra snakes to the little like riddle flyer that they had been passing out to tell the rebellion that, hey, we're doing a thing. So that's that's a pretty important thing to take note of. And Nami's like, we got to get this to Kinemon. He'll know what to do with it. So basically Nami, Frankie, Kanjuro, and Yasuie's body, which I'll get to in a second, are headed off to Kinemon and just to kind of regroup with people. Speaking of Yasuie's body, Kanjuro has told the people of Ebisu that he is going to give him basically a proper burial and pay respects to him and get him to a good spot for him, basically his grave. So there's a little bit of a somber thing going on there, even with everybody laughing because of the smile fruit thing. You could tell that they're all very broken up about this. On the other side of things, Usopp, Robin, and Brook have Otoko, and they're just kind of making their way to safety themselves. They're just kind of trying to get through some checkpoints, and Usopp and Robin make that like face in order to kind of skirt their way around the pictures that had been going around for their wanted posters, which honestly, it works better in this way because like if somebody took a picture of them and then they just made that face, they'd still be like, okay, well that's just you're making a new face. But with the pictures, since they're like drawings, it's kind of harder to tell, so they can basically just like get through any kind of checkpoints as long as they like make their faces distorted. Also, it helps to have Brook be like a ghostly figure, so basically anybody who sees him is like, yokai, get this guy's out of here. Also, poor Otoko. She apparently cried herself to sleep because of the death of Yasuie, which is completely understandable. I feel so bad for her. She was hiding out in Brook's like robes, but like obviously he's not like the warmest person in the world, so Robin took her to hold on to her, and it's kind of a sweet moment there. I honestly wasn't sure if Yasuyue would actually die because, like, where does Otacone go now? But I'm sure that they'll figure out a place to put her. Maybe she hangs out with, like, Momo and Otama, and they're, like, kind of a group of friends or whatever later on, and, like, they're just taken care of. At least that's what I'd like to think. Meanwhile, we jump to Ashura, Kinemon, Inuarashi, and all that again, and it turns out that Ashura, during all this time, had been kind of accumulating ships. They're broken up and they're not the best ships in the world, but it's enough to basically move an army of thousands of people over to Onigashima, and Kinemon makes a comment of like, oh, we gotta get Frankie over here. He'll be able to fix this up, and it's honestly a good thing, because now they have a means to get to Onigashima, and that's something they didn't have before. And honestly, the funny part about this is, like, on one hand, we know that they have an army basically collecting here. They have all the people in the, like, the boxed prison or whatever that, like, Beppo was in, but then they have thousands of people in Udon prison that they don't know about at all, and while Kinemon doesn't know anything about that, he's kind of getting all the, like, the little bits and pieces set up. Like, he's basically getting the vehicles and, like, the organization of, like, the ground floor stuff going on here. But, like, he doesn't know if he has an army to put on those ships. So it's kind of funny to see, like, all of these pieces kind of coming together coincidentally. Now we move on to probably the biggest part of the chapter overall, and it is Onigashima itself and what's going on there. And Queen has officially gotten Big Mom to the island, and she is awake, and she is eating them out of house and home, as per usual. Now, I don't know for sure whether it's just because they don't want her to go crazy, or whether it's because there's some kind of, like, I don't know, maybe they respect her in some way. She is a Yonko, but they are feeding her everything that she asked for, and just kind of having a real chill time. Honestly, up until the last couple of panels, things are relatively chill. I mean, on edge, but everybody's being relatively civil. That being said, Big Mom does try to poach King from Kaido's crew, because apparently she has 3 races that she has never been able to get onto her crew and in her, like, kingdom, and I think one of them was said to be a giant, so she doesn't have a giant per se on her crew or in her island kingdom, but then she also doesn't have whatever King is, and that leads me to think that maybe the wings themselves are in fact actually part of him, and it's not just part of the suit, but he's apparently a new race, maybe, of some sort. She also does mention another race that's kind of like, she says that, oh, it might be lost to time or something like that, so clearly there's another thing, and I have a feeling it won't be lost to time. I have a feeling it'll be the kind of thing where it's like, she finally sees this one, whatever race or whatever. It might just be one person or whatever animal, like, I don't know. But it might be just this one individual, and then she sees that individual and is like, I need it. I thought this thing was extinct, whatever. So it's interesting to know that, like, in addition to whatever mystery King is, I don't know, maybe there's another race out there that, like, we haven't seen yet. Obviously, King declines her offer, and she kind of takes it pretty well. I mean, I guess. I mean, it's, again, this is, like, the few pages or whatever, a couple panels that, like, she's just basically talking to the big people in Kaido's crew. Like, pretty civil, more or less. I mean, they kind of shout at each other, and there's some comical stuff. But, like, overall, things are pretty chill. That being said, the underlings are all terrified of them, and Big Mom, obviously, and the whole situation, so there's obviously some drama going on, and some kind of tension. In any event, Kaido orders to have her handcuffs and chains taken off of her, meaning, one, either he's like, I don't know whether he'd really be friendly with her, which, honestly, based on the last, like, panel or two, I don't know, but also maybe that he thinks he's just strong enough to take her anyways. We'll see. It seems like they're pretty even, at least the start, so we shall see. But it's a really bold move on his part. So after being decuffed, Big Mom and Kaido kind of have some banter back and forth. She summons Napoleon from her hat, and he's, like, getting ready to, like, fight her or whatever, and he's like, listen, I told you if you came here, I would kill you, and she's like, Does this look like the face of somebody that's going to be killed today? I don't think so. And the final couple of panels is them clashing, and everybody around them looks terrified, even Queen. And in this moment, now I don't know whether it's just because of like the ambiance or whatever, but in the moment of them clashing, lightning strikes Onigashima. The waves around Onigashima are freaking out. So it's obviously maybe some kind of like hockey slash just power. They're so powerful that like they are causing the environment to freak out. And if that's the case, that really shows that the Yonko are so freaking strong that they can just change their environment. In any case, everybody's like, we gotta get the heck out of here. This is no good. Now, again, I'm not sure if they're actually going to fight. We do have a week break. I think it's because of a holiday or whatever. But I'm not sure whether they're gonna fight or whether this is just like a friendly meeting of the weapons or whatever. But they're definitely kind of showing their strength here. And nobody else wants to be around. Least of all, apparently, Queen. So everybody's trying to evacuate as they're basically clashing. Honestly, I really like this chapter. I thought it was a good, just kind of showing where the rest of the people are. It showed some more repercussions of what happened with Yasuie and everybody. And it shows that things are really not as they really would like to be. But obviously, things are, like, if they can collect themselves before the Fire Festival, then they'll be set. And honestly, maybe Big Mom and Kaido will take each other out. I don't know. Probably not. Anyways, we have a break next week, so we're just gonna have to wait and see what happens. Let me know what you guys thought about the chapter down below in the comment section. I personally really liked it. Also, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like. I would greatly appreciate it. And if you want to see more from me, make sure to subscribe and ring the bell. That way you'll get all the notifications when I upload. I will see you guys in another video. So long!